What is up, guys? It is the Blue Bloods here, man, and we have one of the best defensive players in the FCS with us today. My guy Matthew Jackson, Eastern Kentucky linebacker. He was on our preseason All ASUN team. Was the ASUN Defensive Player of the Year last year. Was a first-team ASUN All-American by multiple publications at the end of last season. We did a player spotlight on our Twitter, man. If you want to know a little bit more about him yesterday, so man, Matthew, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. You had a really successful high school career as well that a lot of people I feel like overlook. Going back and looking back now as almost going into your senior year, what teams were recruiting you the hardest? What was the high school recruiting process like for you coming out of high school?
To go into that a little bit, out of high school, trying to find a balance of what position I'll play as far as being a safety or outside linebacker was probably the school's deciding factor on recruiting me. So I basically mostly had the OVC, which was what we were used to be in, and now we're in the ASUN now. So I had a lot of OVC schools, a lot of local schools like TSU, UT Martin, Tennessee Tech, Austin Peay, Eastern Kentucky, Murray State, Eastern Illinois. They're all recruiting me hard. I had a couple other interests from lower level G5 schools also, but those didn't really press down on me as hard as Eastern Kentucky did when I was getting recruited. And I was getting recruited by Kevin Kroger. I think he's now the tight ends coach at the Chargers now. So he's progressed up into a higher level and stuff like that. But the ultimate deciding factor of coming to Eastern Kentucky was I had uh, a dude that was on my 2016 class. I mean, well, he was in the 2016 class and he was committed to Eastern Kentucky and he was going to come up here, but I got into an accident. And from that point on, being recruited and stuff, as the connection with Coach Koger and then having that player going there, it just harped on me to go to Eastern Kentucky as being roughly close to home still, being from Nashville and stuff like that, and still having chances of my family to come down there and travel to my games and stuff in that state, and just being the overall warmth of Kentucky and Nashville. That was the leading decider right there.
I mean, made a great decision, man, looking at how your career has panned out thus far, but it wasn't all smooth, man. You redshirt your first season, see a little bit of time on special teams, and right when you're primed to break out and get a big spot, EKU goes through a big coaching change for you. Looking back, how tough was that on you personally, and how did the team handle it, and what was that transition period like for you guys?
Well, yeah, everybody knows that COVID season was pretty rough. The coaching change, like we were like mainly senior led, so a lot of those players that was getting recruited by that coaches and stuff like that left. So we were like, okay, well, we're bringing this new team in, and like the old coaching staff were more was more in depth onto when it's your time to play, it's your time to play. So I didn't really discourage it as when I was younger, not getting that playing time and stuff like that, and just primarily being on special teams because I knew that was my role. And a lot of kids don't know that days that those roles are very very big in college football and stuff like that, and you just have to wait your turn. I had a lot of seniors and juniors and people coming off of redshirt seasons in front of me. So with that different coaching staff and that new coaching change with Coach Wells and Coach Johnson being the defense coordinator and Coach Wells being the head coach, I just fit very, very well within the system. And then we had so many fresh people from my class that was at the old coaching staff already at that time to be in that stepping role of being a starter in those positions. So it just went fluently. With me just knowing all those special teams roles and then taking in a new playbook, it was like me learning the old playbook wasn't really all that, but learning this new playbook is really just going into growing. So it was just easy. It was easy, I could say.
And it paid off. I mean, your new coach, Coach Wells, just won the ASUN Coach of the Year, led you guys to a program record in its first season. For you, what is head coach Wells like behind the scenes, and what makes him the guy that has a lot of people thinking EKU can reach heights that it never has thus far?
One thing he doesn't get credit for, I don't think a lot, is the connection that he has with his players. Like I can go in his office and just talk to him. Like it could be a 5-minute question that I need to ask him or something like that, and it'll go for hours. Or we'll just talk about how everybody is progressing on the team or what we need to do better and stuff like that. So just his attention to detail is just the keys that he preached, like the attention to details and his ultimate standards that he has for himself is just how why is he a good coach. And I mean, he's a businessman, and you produce, and which is the business of college football. You practice how you play, and if you produce, and you will play. So I love that aspect of him, because those kids that aren't producing or is producing needs to get that notice on being on that field and stuff, and he has no problem putting those people in those aspects. So that's the thing for him.
And that's why you guys are in every preseason top 25 that I've seen thus far. I believe, including our own, man. Things are sky high for you guys. But before we get into next season, man, your junior season was really your breakout year. I thought you got snubbed on the All American list. We'll just put that out there. I really thought that was a little ridiculous looking
Yeah.
back, but you had a breakout season. It led to this past season where it was your best year yet. What were the keys to you when you finally got your shot, making it all pay off on the field?
It was just the keys to my success was just managing my time, because I have a daughter now, and she was born the early of that year. So just managing how I'm gonna make sure I keep football, school, and my family aspects all separated. And our coaches preach, like, when you're out here, it's the time to just be out here and let everything go. And that's what I did. Like when I'm in football, I just take everything that I'm dealing with in my life and just eh, channel that energy to football. And with study hall, with going to watch film and going to help my younger guys and practice and stuff like that, it just is a great balance. But yeah, on to that what's it called, All American stuff. I don't know how I didn't make All American, but I was a Buck Buchanan finalist, which is like one of the best defensive players in the whole nation, and I made 16th on that list. And I'm like, I don't know how you can say I don't make All American or even a first or second team or third team in that state. But I increased on my 2020 COVID year stats to junior year and 2021 actual season stats, and I'm like, well, I guess I got to just make a 200 career tackle game this year and stuff like that. Lead every stat. So that's what my goals is, and I just try to get the players in my room to dream how I dream and live how I live, because they want the same aspirations. They want that. They want to be in the same shoes that I'm in. They want that draft spotlight. They want that interview process and stuff like that. So I just preach to them. Yeah, you gotta want it. You gotta want it for yourself. So.
And that snub really paid off in a big way, because then coming into this past season, you win ASUN Defensive Player of the Year on Phil Steele's list. What did that mean to you when you got the notification that you were the Defensive Player of the Year for your conference?
It was a lot of competition, and I credit all those other athletes. I know Davion, he was a strong candidate too, and I know Jessup. I can't.
Logan Jessup
Oh,
at Central
that's
Arkansas. Yeah.
Arkansas. He was a strong contender for it too. But I mean, I it was just a breath of fresh air. Like from being, like you said, only playing special teams and then having those breakout seasons, it was like, okay, I'm finally getting that noticeable accolades and noticeable things when sometimes you don't always get that. So um, it was just a breath of fresh air, I could say.
I know okay, so I know the first goal is to go back to back with that, but
Mhm.
your final season potentially at EKU, what are your personal goals, man? List them out for me. Kind of talk about what do you want to achieve before you head to the next level?
Before I head to the next level, I want to leave EKU with a strong mark. So I do want to plan on trying to lead my team to go to the playoffs and try to get that national championship under our belt. We ain't had one in a very, very long time, and we're a high tradition school. So bringing that tradition back for not only me but building that legacy for Eastern Kentucky on stronger recruits, trying to get to a G5 level, trying to get to a FBS level and status like that would be tremendous on that national championship or even playoff recognition, because then the next season it builds towards preseason stuff, breaks towards more recruiting and endorsements and stuff like that. Some other goals I have is to probably just win it all on the Buck Buchanan Award. I got a little taste about it because I didn't know what it was until they put me in it and I did some research about it. But to basically win the Buck Buchanan Award finalist, I mean, All American, it means a lot to me, but it kind of doesn't mean more than being the best in the nation. And since I didn't get it last year, but I got it the COVID year, it's like, okay, I don't know how they're gonna snub what's it called, Eastern Kentucky players on that. So most likely making that 2022 first team All American, and then just being a overall, like, just knowing that, leaving my teammates with that overall aspect of I gave it my all and I was the best leader that they ever had in my position room. Those are some of my strong minded goals.
Hey man, a lot of those are definitely achievable. I know you're one of the favorites for the Buck Buchanan coming into this year, and I mean, I think it was like some weird number, like 16 of the top 25 are all coming back, which is
Yeah,
unheard of
yeah.
for in terms of FCS football. But you guys in the ASUN, you guys have a lot of new coming teams coming into the conference. Is there a game on the schedule, man, that you're looking forward to just a little bit more? Kind of walk me through. Are there any games that are more like statement games for you this season?
I would say every game is a statement game because every game you have that chance to put out your ability to showcase your talents. But that last game that we have, I think it's Kennesaw State. Yeah, he's the quarterback. He's pretty good, and I think he's on a lot of high draft boards and stuff like that in the next draft. So making sure we step our mark on them. You know, also Jacksonville State is also going to be a tough battle. That rivalry went to like double overtime last year. And then that Central Arkansas game, you know, we always go back to back with them and always playing them. I always give high energy. I know that coaching staff and just having that relationship on and off the field with those players and that coaching staff is just going to be a grindy game. Outside of having those FBS games, which was always exciting, those are also games to showcase my talent on in a very high level. So definitely all those games.
And I think Hero Sports identified you guys as a top 5 team to knock off, I believe it was Bowling Green this year.
Bowling
I think
Green.
you guys were 3rd or 4th on the list as, like, potential upset, so that's a huge one. I know you're talking about Xavier Shepherd, quarterback for Kennesaw State. Thus far as a consensus first team All-American in the FCS, so that'd be one heck of a matchup to watch, but I always like asking players this question because hindsight is always great to hear from you guys. How has your game evolved, man? So walk me through true freshman Matthew Jackson just stepping onto EKQ campus and compare his on the field game to yours right now going into your senior season.
All right, so a lot of that has to do with a difference in maturity. So when I was younger, you know, just being young and never being in a college atmosphere, playing in those games and going to like UK to go play UK at UK, like that atmosphere there, being the first game of the season is very immature. Like you just like you want to do everything, but you're not totally locked in mentally into the game. So that's probably the biggest thing from just playing special teams and all right, understanding my role with now being a leader on this team, a 3-time captain on this team, and understanding, okay, I now have to know my safety's role, my other outside linebackers role, my D lineman role, know the offensive role, know special teams role, know my coach's role to be a better leader for um, going out there. So I know it's times where I have like maybe offside penalty or pass interference penalty and stuff like that. But I know that connection that I have now with my coach, I can look at him and I know like kids nowadays, if they get a penalty, they have to go out. Me, I know my coach to where I can look Coach Wells in the eye. I know he knows that I won't put our team in a situation like that again and mentally being immature about that situation again and go out there and play the next play as hard as I can and actually progress, like get a stop or something or get a forced fumble or something like that or interception and just make a play. So I could say that's how my game evolved a little bit. Also just being understanding the playbook, like with being in a new coaching staff, sometimes it takes people years to get that playbook down or semesters to get that playbook down. And I think I've adorned that playbook a lot. And um, it came like fairly easy for me to understand and go out there and play to just my ability. then that's the easiest thing. When you know the knowledge, you can just play way faster. So yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I think me playing O line, man. Once you know those blocking assignments and you can just get
Like,
off the ball and go do it, it's so much easier. Because if you're thinking, the D lineman is gone. He's not there anymore. So I definitely like how you said, just playing free, being loose out there. But NFL comparisons, man. We know fans, listeners love these. Everyone's trying to compare one player to another. For you, though, personally, which NFL player do you feel like your game models the most?
well, I'm gonna start off with what Coach Wells says. He says that I'm a little Minka Fitzpatrick. So he idolizes my game of and my role of next level league type body and speed and explosiveness to be a Minka Fitzpatrick. But I kind of see myself as kind of like a Minka, not a Minka, Micah Parsons. I'm sorry about the name, but I kind of see myself in that role because I mean he is an outside linebacker, but he can't stand up and rush out of the end. So it's some packages where y'all see me primarily playing linebacker, then y'all see me move to will, but then y'all see me like in some of the Louisville film that if y'all go watch, I was playing the end a little bit to on those bigger guys and bigger bodies being fast enough and being able to dip that shoulder. So just that versatility that he has and all the aspects of his game and stuff like that, I can kind of see myself having those aspects, being able to drop back, play coverage, then blitz, and then be the overall outside medium position. So
Kind of building off of that, projecting to the next level, where do you feel most comfortable playing? Just in terms of your personal opinion, do you feel more comfortable in an edge role, a true linebacking role, a DN role, or even just a box safety role where you're playing some coverage? Where do you feel most comfortable?
I feel more comfortable playing that box safety role or kind of being like that primary outside linebacker role. I don't shy away from being in that box and having that 4-3, like being that outside linebacker right there and playing in those gaps and stuff like that. But I can say that I feel better like and confident and just overall understanding everything from being so far back in that box safety role and looking at everything in front of you, comfortable in those days.
I can definitely see it, man. But looking back, everyone has one. What was your welcome to college moment on the field where you were just like, "Oh, yeah, this is different than some high school," and you just had to adjust on the fly?
I will probably say the COVID season we had the most breakout schedule, so we had the most like indifferent schedule. So I think we played like Central. We played Central Arkansas. We had Citadel, we had Troy, we had West Virginia, we had Marshall. So just all those varieties of school, all those varieties of places that we had to travel and get acclimated to weather and stuff like that. We had Stephen F. Austin. I think we ended the game, the even in the season with I think another Western Carolina game too, which we kicked them off the next season with, and just overall like that welcome to college of playing Marshall, getting beat by them, then playing West Virginia, and then getting beat by them, then playing Citadel and having that first win with Coach Wells and that atmosphere there was just everything as far as a coaching staff, as far as players, because then we were like, okay, now we understanding how to get better and play at one as more as a team than being individuals out there because we can't trust if COVID is gonna hit one of us in our mouths and stuff like that. So we was more team collected. That was more of a team win, and then having that hard fought loss against Troy and being that like that close of a game of us being like, okay, we can compete with those teams. We was just a little lackluster in those first two games and stuff like that. So just having the overall aspect of having that versatile and variety of games in the 2020 season was a big wake up call.
I'm from Alabama, and listen, I got friends who are Troy fans, and go to Troy, y'all had them shook. I'm just gonna let you know they don't want to play Eastern Kentucky again. I'm just gonna let you know that game was not gonna be scheduled again. They do not want to see you guys, but
Think it was a 38-yarder field goal. I would never forget that one. It was close. So
it definitely was, but man, even me being an O lineman, I have my own superstitions. We don't get a lot of credit for having superstitions. They just expect us to go out there and block.
yeah,
But I had my superstitions, and I had to listen to the same series of songs in the same order. Had to listen to the last one before I went out. For you, how do you get ready for game day, man, on Saturday?
um, I kind of keep it traditional. The night before I eat pretty big, and even like the pregame meal, I eat pretty big on that. And then because I know sometimes being in that FCS level, we have to travel 2 hours or an hour away from the stadium. So I try to get that out of me. I try to get into the stadium or the atmosphere, see those other players, and have a little chit chatter with them and stuff like that, and just understanding that. And then I'm probably the last person to get dressed in that state, so I'm always trying to like run out there and get ready. But I'm also like the guy that probably doesn't have his shoes tied or doesn't have the tape on his what's it called, ankles yet. So I mean, I know that helps me because then I know what I need to get done before it's time to suit up. And then my other biggest thing is when we're in our stretch lines before we go back to do like our agility stuff, I just send up a prayer to God, and that's my biggest thing, and I just let all my emotions out from there. So
You see, we were complete opposite. I like to be the first one dressed. I had to
uh
be like ready. I could. The stress of getting ready on time killed me, man. But you
I did
know, he
I
said I'm
know.
good. But in the box it gets so chippy, man. Playing some DM, playing some edge, going up against the same guys over and over again, man. It gets heated. How big of a part is trash talking of your game?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, um it's big to me because you always have to be able to back it up. So in my situations like that, when I'm rushing off the edge or if I'm blitzing and I'm doing this and doing that, I always have to back it up. So I can say that I've been backing it up a little bit, but a little bit well for the time being. But always just having that, knowing that other side has an edge to them too, and always understanding that okay, this is football, but it you can always have that respect level of talking to one another in that state. So it's more of a respect thing to me. If I see somebody talking back to me or saying, Matt, you suck, I'm like, okay, yeah, I like that. I like that. I need to know that I suck. I need to know that I suck. So I know next time I see you or you're coming across the middle, I need to hit you a little harder because maybe you didn't know how hard I hit now. So that's it's a big deal for me.
So, the follow-up question here: Who is the biggest trash talker you had to face that just gave it back to you all game long?
I might need a little time to think about this one. I would say Sam Houston. Sam Houston, uh, number 8, the wide receiver is like a dark skinned small guy. He might be on some boards of being like preseason, like top wide receivers and stuff like that. I might have seen him on something, but um, yeah, he was a guy that I think he had caught like uh, in the beginning of the game, he called like a 32-yard post, and I was like, "Man, you suck." And he was like, "Oh yeah, all right, watch this." And then all that whole rest of the game, every time I make a tackle, he'll run to me, "No, you suck." And he'll just keep it going. Keep going, keep going. He backed it up. I think he scored a touchdown and stuff like that. He was talking and stuff. He ran past my face. And I was like, okay, well, hey, I gotta give credit where credit's due in that state. But he was a guy that was always on me and was always talking. So yeah.
Hey, that's great, man. And this is just hypothetical, man. You, a running back, meeting in the hole, meeting in open field. What's the number one mistake a running back can make against you?
um, I would probably say because I haven't been run over yet, is the decision to try to run me over. I mean, uh, that decision I don't think that was going to work out too well, and that's probably going to edge a little some running backs to try to make that judgment now. But I've been a very good open field tackler, I could say. So trying to juke me out is not going to happen. So I've yet to see those running backs that like to lower that shoulder and try to get me on one of their highlights films and stuff like that. So that overall aspect of trying to run me over, I like to see that. No, I don't that.
Hey, man, I love the confidence and everything, man. But last question here. I'm expecting you to be on some draft boards when you declare for the draft, man. One of the top FCS prospects in the country right now. If an NFL franchise asks you what they're going to get in Matthew Jackson if they take you in the NFL draft, what do you tell them?
I don't want to take the quarterback approach when they always say I'm gonna get you a Super Bowl or a championship or stuff like that. But I can honestly say you're gonna get a very good, strong work ethic out of me. Like, um, I'm always consistent of being that guy of always the next man up. Like I wanna produce. I wanna be out there on the field. So the attention to detail, the overall aspect of knowing you Matthew's going to be where Matthew says he's going to be on the football field and their social life is probably the biggest thing that I could say that um I love to harp on. I'm not scared to do special teams because I've been doing that all my life. I know some guys they try to shy away from that, and I'm not scared to play any positions on the field. Like if y'all want me to go play wide receiver, I can go line up there wide receiver. Y'all want me to be a long snapper, I'm gonna try to long snap in the NFL too because I've had some history of doing that too. So just that overall aspect of okay, Matthew might be a primary linebacker or a primary safety, but I can also plug Matthew into being a box level safety or a will or a DN or a jack or a special teams guy. So just having that versatility is a big strong suit.
Hey man, I think you sold some people, man. Versatility is one of the biggest things now in the NFL, where they kind of go in almost positionless at some
Yeah,
aspects in terms of tight ends to wide receivers, safeties, linebackers, edge players. With the new athletic defensive schemes coming out, man, that's a huge thing, man. But I appreciate you coming on the show, man. It gave me almost 30 minutes of your time. And I can't thank you enough. But this is all about promoting the players, man. So let them know where they can find you on social media, contact you for NIL deals, any shout outs, messages you want to give, man. This time is yours.
excuse me. So my Instagram title would be MattaJack12. My Twitter handle I think is MattaJack12 also. And I do have an NIL contract with Apollo's Pizza. So if y'all want to get with me, y'all can contact me on through my Instagram or Twitter handles for more inquiries. So I just want to thank you all for having me also. And this has been a very, very tremendous, great interview for
Hey man, I appreciate it. But guys, make sure to go follow Matthew on all social media as these players get their platforms bigger and better. Opportunities will come their way. And I promise you, you're gonna hear his name on draft day very, very soon. And as he looks to win back-to-back ASUN Defensive Player of the Year awards, guys. But for Matthew, myself, and the Blue Bloods guys, we are out for right now.